Hey YouTube, and welcome to my channel. So this is my first video. In a sense, I posted a video a while back, but I didn't like it. I felt like I was bloated, and anyway, I ended up deleting the video. So here I am again. Yeah, posting my video today. I am going to talk about how I lowered my blood pressure.
My
And
face
you'll
looked
see
really
links in my
bloated, real
description
bad.
because it is kind of lengthy. So here we go. I am going to discuss how I went from vegan, vegetarian, pescatarian-ish, all mixed together, to now mainly an animal-based diet, and how it's impacted my body and how it's lowered my blood pressure naturally. So I was diagnosed with hypertension back in 2006. My physician at the time prescribed me HTZ, and told me to follow the DASH diet. If you don't know what the DASH diet is, just Google it. I forgot what it stands for, but basically it's lower salt products, or essentially lowering the salt in your diet to reduce the blood pressure. So I did that. I was, in my mind, I knew my grandmother took hypertension medication, and a lot of people in the Black community, they take hypertension medication and they're fine. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to do the same thing and I'm going to be okay. Not thinking of the complications that having uncontrolled hypertension, what it could lead to down the road. So like around, so let me backtrack. When I was getting my physicals, everything looked fine. I was taking my medication, everything was fine. So around 2016, 2017, I noticed my kidney function was not the best. So I was getting a little bit nervous, but then I wasn't like alarmed, because I'm like, okay, I'm eating better, I'm doing better, like it's gonna be okay. It's just a blip. It's okay. So it started getting me thinking to look up nephrologists, because they're kidney doctors. So I'm like, okay, if I get a kidney doctor, they can help me, increase my kidney function and tell me what I'm doing wrong. Since my primary care physician is, just a primary care physician, he's not a specialist or, a kidney specialist. So I was interrupted, but so yeah, I was looking into nephrologists, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get ahead of this. Da 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 da. My son, he's grown, not grown, but old enough with, though I feel like, he will be fine. So fast forward, say like about a year or two after I became pregnant with my daughter, I was considered high risk or geriatric pregnancy, since I was over 35 at the time. Pregnancy went well, no gestational diabetes. My kidneys pulled through. Every time I had blood work, 'cause most of us know, women who've been pregnant, who've experienced high risk pregnancy or geriatric pregnancy, they test so often. So I've had blood work, I want to say every trimester, and I think the last trimester they doubled up because my dad was diabetic, so they wanted to make sure I didn't have gestational diabetes. So after I had my daughter, everything was fine as far as just going back to the blood work when I was pregnant with her. So I got my physical, because I'm very faithful in getting my physical, because I need to know my numbers, especially because, one, I have the history of hypertension. Two, my dad was diabetic. So I always want to make sure I get in front of my numbers to either, bring them down, whatever numbers need to go down, bring the numbers up, whatever needs to go up. Anyway, I had my physical back in, I want to say 2020 or 2021. And when I saw my kidney function, y'all, like my heart dropped. I was so scared, because I'm like, what is going to happen? Like, it drastically went down. I can't remember the amount that it went down, but I was like freaking out real bad, especially because I just had my daughter. And again, I just want to make sure I'm healthy and I'm around to see her grow into an adult. Also, I didn't want to be a burden to my son or to my daughter. I didn't want to rely on the medical system, getting dialysis. I feel like we normalize I don't want to say, we normalize sickness in a sense like, okay, I have this disorder, so I'm just going to just depend on the doctors. For me, I'm a research addict. I want to know what I can do. What can I do to prevent this? What can I do to change so that I don't have to rely so much on the medical like establishment altogether? So I started doing research on kidney.org. Essentially, like there are different levels of kidney disease or kidney failure, and I also went to that website to see what type of foods I should eat, what type of food should I avoid. That's when the website does advise to limit protein. If you do protein, do like fish or plant-based protein. So that's what led me to the vegetarian, vegan, pescatarian lifestyle. I was like, bet, I'm gonna go ahead and, eat my tofu, eat my salmon, eat my veggies, eat my fruit. Okay, everything is gonna go fine. I also, a coworker sent me a Dr. Sebi cookbook. So I did take a few of his recipes, which were very, very delicious. And I follow a few TikTokers on getting recipes that were Dr. Sebi inspired, which really helped a lot. Everything, like I said, everything was good. Vegan mac and cheese, kale, greens, salmon, all that good stuff. I never really liked chicken. I don't know what happened, but I didn't eat chicken, so I didn't have to worry about missing chicken or anything like that. So COVID hit. I did notice I started doing more processed foods. I did a lot of Beyond sausage, vegan processed stuff because at that I'm not really a fish person. I don't like fish. The only type of fish I like is the kind that's not really good for you, which is like breaded, like fish sticks, the squares that are breaded. So I'm not really into fish. Do I like shrimp? Yes. Is it my favorite? No. And fish, I mean crabs, lobster, all of that stuff is expensive. So I started doing some plant-based items. I started making some things from scratch. Like I would make mushrooms, things like that. I'm like, I gotta, keep at it. At the same time, when I'm getting my blood work, because my doctor will follow up with me, my iron started getting low. Like it was extremely low to the point that I needed infusions. So I'm like, okay, I know this is normal. I hear a lot of vegans or vegetarians, they're deficient in certain vitamins, and I know sometimes iron can be one of them. So, I upped my kale, still didn't work. And just to piggyback on the hypertension and diabetes in our country, I feel like it is normalized to the point that we don't talk about enough of the the complications that can happen if your diabetes is a control, if your hypertension is a control. It can lead to kidney failure. Like you literally have to go into a dialysis center to have your kidneys cleanse, not cleanse, to do what your kidney's supposed to do. You have to get it done by a machine, which I don't feel like it's talked about enough. So I was a part of the population. Again, you take your blood pressure medication, or if I became diabetic, I'm like, I would take a shot. But thankfully, I was never uh, I'm not diabetic. My dad, before he passed away, always talked a lot about things to avoid, so I wouldn't become a diabetic. So I've been implementing those things since before he passed away. I've implemented those food choices to prevent myself from either becoming pre-diabetic or diabetic. So, like I said, I've discussed my fear of being on dialysis. I've also discussed how I want to be around for my daughter and I want to have a good quality of life, because there are people who live on dialysis, some people for decades. So, but I just don't want to sit in a dialysis office hours at a time, or I'm at home doing it. Like, I don't want to do that. So I felt like the universe was sending me signs to basically get your ish together, or you gonna be one of those people. At first, I felt like they started out as subtle, like messages from the universe or my ancestors. I don't know, but I would see commercials about kidney failure, different types of medications, how to slow down kidney failure, just different things that would pop up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like please stop, like, and I would just hurry up and turn the commercial off. But one thing that stood out to me big in June of this year, I was sending a text message and it was started with the letter D. The auto check, auto spell spelled out dialysis. When I tell you I freaked the F out, like I freaked the F out, like, oh my gosh, I need to get, like, stop playing around because I'm not trying to mess around and find out. So the next day I went on YouTube because I'm like, okay, I can't remember what I typed in a search engine of YouTube. But Dr. Jason Fung popped up, and literally, like, watching that video, I want to say it was maybe like 15 minutes long, if that, changed my mindset, changed my life. And when I say every time I anything that I do, I just feel so grateful that his video popped up on my feed, well, my search, because I wouldn't be where I am health wise today if it wasn't for that video for Dr. Jason Fong. So Dr. Jason Fong is a nephrologist based out of Canada, and he essentially talks about fasting and being low carb or being animal based, and how it's improved his patient's health with those two. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, I'm not going back to beef. I'm not going back to eating meat. No, I'm a fast and continue to be pescatarian, plant based. It'll work. It's okay. So that I tried the pescatarian plant based for like a day, because like I said, the first day, I think it was June the 4th, or June the 5th of this year. I was hungry after eating beans or some type of salmon, plant based, whatever. I'm still hungry, so I was like, you know what? I said I'm going to eat beef. So that next day, the following day, I got some ground beef and I got some other meat items. And when I tell you, I was satiated, like the whole time. I wasn't hungry, like it was perfect. So my first week of fasting, I lost 7 pounds, and of course that's water weight, because a lot of times the carbs, I didn't even know this, carbs causes fluid retention in some. It causes fluid retention in me. I stopped drinking when I was diagnosed with hypertension. So eliminating alcohol or limiting it is not an issue for me. So my blood pressure is controlled. When I've had my blood pressure taken, when I haven't had any meds, my pressure rests around 112/68. Normally, my pressure would be borderline high, clearly because my kidney function wasn't at its best. I have more energy. My mind is more clear. My skin looks good. Like, my face is a lot smaller. And as I stated early in the video, I had made a video a few months ago, and my face is so pudgy. And maybe one day I'll post it eventually, but I was not feeling the chub face at all. I had gained so much weight. So before discovering this lifestyle, I had talked to my doctor about possibly taking Ozempic or getting weight loss surgery. And some people like, oh, you're not that big, when they see me, like, oh, you're not that big. But it's not a matter of not being that big to you. It's what my numbers are looking like. So since I started fasting and eating animal-based meat or animal-based food, excuse me, I've lost 30 pounds. I'm not at my goal weight yet, but I've lost 30 pounds. My grocery bill is a lot less cheaper, because the only thing I really buy, I buy my butter in bulk. my eggs in bulk. Sometimes I get the pasture raised eggs. I don't really like pasture raised eggs. And I just get my ground beef depending on what my finances are looking like. If I need to get ground beef, or sometimes I'll treat myself to a steak. So typically what I eat is just beef, butter, and eggs, and bacon. Um, and also, I didn't know this. Recently, I discovered GLP-1s are found in food, which is an Ozempic, which reduces your appetite. So for me, when I do eat the beef, butter, bacon, and eggs, my appetite, like, I'm full. Because after fasting and when you eat that, it just feels like you feel so good. It I play around with different spices. I do like unsalted butter. I use Redmond salt. I eat butter plain by itself. Like, it's, I just want to shout from the rooftops how amazing I feel, how I look. I put on makeup and I work from home. I put on makeup while I'm at home. Okay? Like, before, I didn't put on makeup because I felt unattractive, and I know you shouldn't equate your weight to how you feel or look, but I did because I didn't feel like 100% me. So along with Dr. Fong, there are some great YouTubers on here, and I'm just gonna name a few. Dr. Kim Berry is amazing. Dr. Sean Baker, Steak and Butter Gal, Homestead How, just to name a few. I know being vegan or plant-based is in, and maybe it works for some, but it didn't work for me, and I'm not putting down that lifestyle. Some people may have regular, good iron, or they may feel satiated eating that type of that way. It didn't work for me. I don't want to take a whole bunch of supplements. I forgot the other doctor that is on here, but I think Dr. Berry talks about, I take my D3, my K2, and I forgot the other supplement. Oh, magnesium glycinate. I'm not sure if I'm saying it right. Probably not, but anyway, you get what I'm saying. But I'm never going back to plant-based or pescatarianism because the food is just too good the way it is. My groceries are, again, less expensive. My time in a grocery store, I'm being nosy. My time in the grocery store is a lot less. I'm literally in and out. I'll get a few snacks for my daughter. She does eat with me sometimes. Some of the things she likes, like we eat egg salad with pork rinds. So good. I don't label myself as carnivore, ketovore, any of those vores, or I will say I eat based on how I feel. One, I look at my numbers. Do I eat some pizza with my daughter sometimes? Absolutely. Do I enjoy a piece of a donut sometimes? Absolutely. There are some things that I've taken off the table, like in my house. We don't buy any juices, sodas, no diet sodas. We just buy sparkling water and plain waters. And what I want you to take from this video is be open to change. That's because other people are doing it. It may not work for you. And I lost my train of thought. Also, oh yeah, that's what it is. Google GLP-1s, rich foods. Find a list, because a lot of people are taking Ozempic and some people are having success. Some people are having complications from it. Research it and find out, because you may not even need Ozempic. So if you are animal based, what has your journey been like? How long have you been on it? And yeah, share your journeys. I'm open to it. I would like to build a community around talking about health, because I do feel we are being distracted from some things. But we need to take care of our bodies so we don't have to depend on the healthcare system as much, because the healthcare system is in a process of, I don't want to say breaking, but it seems like it's breaking, and that's a little scary. So yeah, Like my videos, guys. Subscribe and namaste. And I will be talking to you soon. Bye.